Welcome everyone to Stand Up Comedy Q&A with Greg Dean. Yay! Michael asked, how should I approach open mics strategically? Because you also say open mics when you're doing performing, should you do new material? Should you work out? Should you, how do you approach an open mic? Let me just spotlight you there. Good question.
So open mics, it's a tough situation there. I know it's very, I personally believe that it should, first of all, if you're scared and you're afraid of them, I used to do this. I was so terrified of going to the only one in town that was, when I first came here to LA, was at the Comedy Store, and just terrified. So I finally went, okay, I'm just going to go and not perform. That's the first thing. Just get yourself there. Because remember I said earlier that a lot of stage fright goes away from familiarity instead of just being a complete unknown. So I would go and I'd sit there and I'd watch them and I'd realize I'm funnier than almost all these people. So I'd go and sign up and get up and do something, and I was right. I wasn't as funny as some of them, but I was funnier. So that's the first thing, which is get yourself there, because it isn't as crazy or as frightening as you think it is. Once you get there a few times, you realize everybody else there is just as terrified as you are. Okay, next is open mics. For me, the way I counsel people, it's a two-step process. Go to the open mic, okay? Be there. Oh, and remember, culture comes from the top down. If you got somebody who's just really crazy and crappy and everything, it's going to be a crappy open mic. If you got somebody who's level-headed, wants everybody to have a good time, wants everybody to listen, it's going to probably be a pretty good open mic. Okay, so first thing is evaluate. If it is a bad open mic, do not do your material, because you're trying to get a read on your material. And you can't get a read on your material when no one is listening. All the comics are back there talking, smoking pot, doing shit, right? All that stuff, writing on their show. They're not paying attention. And every once in a while, one will, from the back of the room, you'll hear, you'll do a good joke and they'll go, ah! Just to let you know you're funny. But that's probably all you'll get. So don't do your material there in that situation. It's just discouraging, because you'll think, well, if I was really good, I could make them listen. And the answer to that is, yes, that's right. Gail could make them listen. I could make them listen. A lot of people could make them listen because they got a lot of experience, but you don't. So don't try to make them listen. Now, you want to go to an open mic and come home with something for you. Okay, this is the little gem that I say. I say you pick a premise or some ideas of material you've been thinking about. You get up there on that stage, lights in your eyes, microphone in your hand, etc., and you rant. You just start letting that voice out of the back of your head about whatever you're talking about. Let that start coming out your mouth. Start saying all that stuff that you're usually afraid to say in public, or even try to get it into jokes. Just start saying that and record it, because you might come up with something really brilliant. Okay. But now you're practicing getting up on that stage and being honest. And honest as a beginner, in some ways, is far more important than actually funny. We can build funny into a show. Honesty is something I work really hard to get all my students to be. I'm after their real story. How do they really look at the world that's different than everybody else looks at the world? And that honesty, now you leave that open mic having practiced honesty. You've left there with something that really is helpful for you as a comedian.
Yeah, for sure. And it's your original material, original voice. Nobody can steal it from you.